Hey guys, welcome back. Thought I'd start the video with talking about the manual I found with this machine. I thought this was a BU, Necchi BU Nora, but it's actually just a Necchi BU. And I'm not sure if it's a Nova or not, and I think it may be. I'll show some pictures here of other Necchi BUs, the Novas, that I found online with the cams, but this one has some things that are different. I'm going to show you guys. So I'm not quite sure if this is a Nova or if it's just a BU with accessories. Anyways, about this manual, the reason why I know this is not for this machine is I opened it up after cleaning and noticed this little diagram here, and you can see there's a cam door there, and went through and you can see the stain is still on the back there, but the manual's in great condition. But anyways, everything in here shows that this is a total different machine than what I have here. So if anyone has a Necchi Nora and they want this manual and they're in Canada or United States, let me know. I'll ship it out to you. Just leave me a comment and then we'll go from there. Anyways, moving on to the Necchi BU see in front of you. I've done repairs on the case. I've glued all the canvas back together in the spots that it was coming off, and I've done some touch-ups on all the skin. Lucky for me, the red paint that I got for the other Necchi BU that I painted worked perfect for touching up all these little spots that had scratches where the canvas was exposed. So I used a little bit of paint and touched it all up. Now the case looks beautiful now. It's all in good condition. There's only one problem, and it's right here. This used to have a string that goes along inside of here, so I'm gonna replace that when I find some that looks the same. Anyways, here's the inside of the case. You can see it had some spool pin damage at the top there. I touched that up with paint and cleaned it and glued all the canvas back together in there. And you can see how clean everything turned out. There's the only spot that has a dark stain. It is clean and dry, but that's a permanent mark in the actual case now, which is okay with me. And you can see this is a genuine Necchi case. It has the stamp there. Unfortunately, that mold had caused some damage to the decal a little bit, but nonetheless, it is still there. You can see this is an original case. And there is the beautiful Necchi. So let me get the camera set up a little bit closer, and I'll talk to you more about this Necchi and show you guys this machine running a stitch. Okay, so here we are, sitting in front of the machine. It's looking pretty good, isn't it, guys? I got it all nice and cleaned and polished, and I've lubed everything up. And to let you know, this machine was saved just in the brink of time. Whoever brought this to the thrift store caught it just in time. The amount of mold and damage that was done to this machine from that, guys, this machine was very stiff. I did say it turned and everything moved, but I mean, it was stiff. It took me 45 minutes of oiling and coming out and massaging it every 10 minutes and then trying to get it to move before I could even put any power to it and get the motor to move the machine. There was this is a 1.1 amp motor on this machine, guys, and that 1.1 amp motor would not even budge this machine. That's how sticky it was. It moved, but it was super sticky. So I just added oil and tried to massage it, come back, add another drip of oil, tried to massage it, and did that for 45 minutes and got the machine freed up. So now it is running beautiful. As you can see, there's a piece of fabric here. I'm going to show you some of the stitches that I've done. I've gone through every one of the cams, but I had to do a lot of adjusting on this machine. I could tell that there's been some tampering with this machine, and I'm not sure if this is a regular Necchi BU or if it is a BU Nova. I don't think this is a Nova. I think this may be accessories that somebody bought and put on a regular BU. And the reason I say that is I'm going to show you guys a picture right here. And if you look at this Necchi BU Nova, it has a lever that comes down right here, okay? See that? See the difference in the pictures? It has a lever that goes down right here. And this one doesn't. It has these style of levers. Now the holes that are drilled in here are factory. I can tell that this is original. So this is what I was saying before, that I think the Nova, difference between a Nova and a BU is it has the holes for the cams. But this also doesn't have, there's a cover that goes over this. And if you notice, this plate's upside down. There's 3 little indents there, and that's because this is spring loaded. And it's meant to hold this center and left and right. But see right now how it moves freely without it stopping? Somebody has taken this plate off, turned it upside down, so that when you're using the cams, this can move without hitting those notches, okay? So if I were to just use this machine as a straight stitch and zigzag only, I would have to take this plate off and flip it over. The way it's set up right now, it is meant to be used with the cams strictly, okay? Unless I can get the little cover that goes over here, because it actually attaches by bolting here. And you notice, this one doesn't have that little stop plate like my other Necchi has neither. But, nonetheless, it's the exact same as my other BU. Now, another thing I noticed is there's no way to use the bobbin winder because of the way that this cam setup is in the way, okay? So that's something that makes me wonder if this is an accessory someone bought after the fact. Now, if you guys notice, the rubber wheel looks like it's replaced, but it's not. It's still the same rotted rubber wheel. What I did was I pulled it off and I wrapped it with electrical tape, one tight pull wrap, and then I was able to clamp the steel plates back on, and the tape is rubber and it works great. So I'm able to use the cams right now. I'm going to try to order this wheel, the rubber wheel, but for now I can use the cams. Alright, so that's one thing I fixed. Also, the cam mechanism was a little bit too much this direction. It was making, the rods were pushing these levers to their maximum point and causing force against this whole mechanism, and I can see this whole mechanism wanting to bend away from these levers because the arm is reached as max as it can go, and the only way it can go now is put force on this. So I put a couple washers down here and space this out, and now this mechanism works perfectly. There's no more rocking. I don't see this flexing to the right anymore when these levers come all the way to the far left. So that's one adjustment I made. So it makes me think this might have been an accessory. If you guys know better, let me know, because I don't see anywhere on this machine that says Nova. I don't have a manual for it. Also, I don't notice the register mark on the Necchi here, but it just says BU down here. Alright, so if you guys know more, let me know. Like I said, I'm still learning. I thought I was wrong, and then I was wrong about being wrong. So the Nova, it's nice weather today, you can hear the motorcycles. The Nova is actually a BU with the cam setup. So maybe this is a Nova? I don't know. Anyways, enough jibber jabber. Let me show you guys these, move these rods here. Show you these stitches it does. What do you think of that? There's the zigzag. There's the straight stitch. There's all the cams, because the cams are double-sided, so you have different pattern on each side, so you can flip it over. Some things I discovered with that. There's the back side. That's the bobbin thread, and that's the top thread. You can see I have the red thread up top there. And I'll show you guys this thing running a stitch, showing the cams running. Show you guys that there at the end. I'll do some more stitching here for you. But there you go. So I went from the lowest number that I have. I really like this one. This one's cool. And that's when you're working with this, whenever you're running the cams, you're going to want to set this stitch length down to about a 0.5, and that's where I have it. I set it at a 0.5 to do all of those stitches there, and then lock that in with your gauge here, and then hook your rods up. And to hook the rods up, it's very simple, guys. Very simple. So you put one end in, you can see the one end has a little snaky bend to it, and the other end just drops in. And I thought they'd pop out, but they don't. So you take the long rod and you put that one in the top. So there you go. You just move the arm over. And then you take this one, put it 2 holes down, the short rod, and move your other rod and drop that in, and that's it. That's simple, guys. Now, I don't have a manual, but I'm assuming if I move these rods into different places, it would change the pattern width and length, maybe. I don't know. I don't have a manual. If you guys know where I can get a manual for the cams, that'd be cool. But one thing I will tell you is if you notice on this cam mechanism, there's a white arrow right here. And this white arrow, there's actual white mark on the cam. So when you're starting, you're going to want to start there. And what you can do is you can unlock your wheel and turn this when your hand wheel's engaged, and your machine won't go, but you can turn it until you're lined up right at that white, like run the machine until your cam gets lined up. And then once that is, lock that in, drop your needle in your material, and away you go. Start and stop your pattern. That's what I found out. That's how I did these. I would start at the white, and that would do that, and that's how I did every one of these. I made sure the cams, I'll show you here, I'll show you the cams. If you look, there's 2 yellow marks, but then there's a white and a green mark. So when the cam is like this, the white is against the machine, line up the white with the arrow, and that's to start. And when you do the other side, you just flip it, and the white will be there too. See? There's the white for that pattern. It's just a matter of pulling it off and flipping it. So what I do is when I start and stop, I make sure I start and stop with the white right there, and it's always gives me the start and stop on these patterns. Anyways, enough jibber jabber. Want to see this machine run a stitch? Alright, let me run a stitch, and then you guys can leave me some comments if there's anything else you want to know, or if there's anything else you want to see on this machine. You guys can leave it down below. But for now, I'm so excited to have this machine, guys. Like, I like my Neckis, you know that, but this machine just makes me super excited. I have the case, I have everything with it. So let me show you this gorgeous Necchi running a stitch once again, and then maybe we can move on to some other machines. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate you all subscribing, telling your friends, and don't forget about the contest coming up. Stay safe.